welcome to Squirrels, Alaska versus Oklahoma. I've been wondering how the squirrels that I'm studying here in Alaska are different than the squirrels that I see all the time in Oklahoma. The two squirrels that we're going to look at today are the Arctic ground squirrel from Alaska and the eastern fox squirrel from Oklahoma. He's one of the most common species we see in northeast Oklahoma. Let's look first at how scientists talk about these animals. Every animal has a special scientific classification, so scientists know exactly what animal they're talking about. Here are two examples of the scientific names. The reason they use scientific names instead of common names is because of this. Let's imagine that you're looking at this dog here. Some of you might look at him and say, ooh, that's a weenie dog. Some might say, that's a dachshund. It's the same dog and we have different names for the same animal. To avoid confusion, scientists talk about the animals in terms of their scientific names. So they get those names based on how they're classified, from biggest category to smallest. Both species of squirrel are in the animal kingdom. They both have a backbone. They're both mammals. They're both rodents. They're both squirrels. They're kind of a little different at the genus and the species level here. The genus and species is where they get their scientific name. Their habitats are different. Arctic ground squirrel likes to live up north in the Arctic. Eastern fox squirrel likes it a bit warmer. He's in North America on up into Canada a bit in the eastern part of the United States. I would not expect them to swap habitats because they're so very different. Their habitats dictate where they live. We have trees in Oklahoma, so our squirrels like to nest inside trees. There aren't really trees in the Arctic, so those squirrels dig underground burrows. Their sizes are fairly similar to each other. Eastern fox squirrels have longer, bushier tails than Arctic ground squirrels do. Their weights are pretty similar, about 1.5 to 2 pounds, which is about the same weight as 2 full cans of pop. Their diets are pretty similar as well. They both like plants, berries, and insects. Eastern fox squirrel adds bark and acorns to its diet since it has access to lots of trees in Oklahoma. Arctic ground squirrels are pretty opportunistic. They eat what they can. Sometimes that means dead birds or other animals that they come across. Both of these animals eat both plants and meat, so they are called omnivores. They're predators. They have some in common. The owl is a threat to both of them. Hawks are a threat to both of them. In Oklahoma, the eastern fox squirrel also has to worry about snakes. In the Arctic, there's added threats like bears and ravens and eagles and wolves. The way that they have babies is a little bit different. Arctic ground squirrels have a very short season where they're actually up and active. They give birth once a year, whereas the eastern fox squirrel gives birth 1 to 2 times a year. Arctic ground squirrels are pregnant for 25 to 30 days, eastern fox squirrels about 44 days. Arctic ground squirrels have 2 to 10 pups at a time, eastern fox squirrels have 3 to 5. All the squirrels are hairless and helpless at birth, and they stay with their moms for about 6 weeks and nurse until they are big enough to come out and kind of take care of themselves. Their sleep habits are fairly similar. They are both diurnal, meaning they're active during the day and they sleep at night. The interesting thing about the Arctic ground squirrel is that they continue to keep this schedule even though it's continually daylight in the Arctic during the summer. This is the big question that we're looking at this summer. Why do Arctic ground squirrels keep the schedule even when there's not a sun to let them know when it's time to wake up or time to go to bed? How does it benefit them? The Arctic ground squirrel hibernates for 7 to 9 months out of the year. Eastern fox squirrel does not hibernate. There's really no reason for it to in Oklahoma. It doesn't get cold enough. So now that you know a little bit about the Arctic ground squirrel, what kind of things do you wonder? You can post those questions in the Ask the Team section of my blog.